y'all, it's Ashley, and I just came back from a girls trip with my best friend, and it was just so much fun. It started out as a little bit of a road trip, and we ended up going to St. Augustine. We did get lost a little bit, which is where the GPS was kind of faulting with us, but where we were coming from was a lot warmer than where we were going. So we ended up looking at the weather forecast, and it was looking at low 60s, low 40s, and so we got to the hotel, got all unpacked, and then started kind of mapping out where we were going to go. We ended up staying in the St. Augustine Historic District, and so every little thing was in that area, so we ended up bundling up and getting in the car. In the car, we kind of were driving around looking at the beautiful lights that they had, and it was just such a cute scene, perfect for our little romanticized vacation. We ended up stopping at the Aggie's Draft Room. It is a burger place, and they had one of the best burgers that we've had in a very, very long time. And the decor with the lights, the ornaments, and the little trees, it was just so magical. And they also had this really, really cool feature of this self-serve tap that me and my friend had tried. This was the first time trying. We basically tried all of their ciders, and they had amazing flavors. You should definitely try it out if you're ever down in that area. When we got back to the hotel, there was a Harry Potter movie marathon, and we just painted some hearts, did some cute crafts, and then head to bed for the next day. So Saturday morning, we woke up, got dressed, and went out to town. We ended up making it to the Old Town, which is where the trolley's first stop is, but also where you get signed up for a lot of the tours that we went on. The first one was the tour of the old St. Johns County Jail. This jail was built in 1891, and it held prisoners until 1953. It was actually originally located near Hotel Ponce de Leon in downtown St. Augustine, but was moved due to Henry Flagler's influence back in the day. It could hold up to 72 inmates at a time, and is the oldest surviving government building in St. Johns County. This jail has 8 documented hangings, so these are the ones that were just documented, with one that was used for scientific research into the consciousness of a person in their last moments. It was very eye-opening to learn so much about the history of the jail, what the prisoners' lives were like back then, and also what their living quarters were, because it was just so interesting, not something that we're used to. We also got to learn about Sheriff Joseph Perry and his work in the jail. This man was 6 feet 6 inches tall, and he weighed around 300 pounds. So, in SZA's words, this was a big boy. We were able to see what him and his family's living quarters were like in jail and how it would have been set up. And we also got to see a lot of cool little trinkets, like one of the oldest fingerprinted kits in the US and this cute little typewriter. We also made a stop at the St. Augustine Old History Museum for a little bit of an exploration. The museum was a lot of fun to explore and just to see all of the different things that they had to offer. So at first it started kind of from where the settlers that first came to St. Augustine back in the day, what their life was like, what their habitat was like, maybe what the scenery and the natural landscape would have been like. And then we kind of traveled through time, and it was just really cool to see all of the different, canoes that they had and all the different tools that they used back then for the native, plants and animals that were here. Then kind of as we moved past into when the Spanish came and the Spanish were settling here, so kind of around the time of like the pirates and Silver's introduction and all of that fun stuff. It was so interesting. We also got to see kind of an old grocery list, or kind of what prices of groceries used to be, and man, wouldn't we wish for that today. They also had these really cute small replicas of like what settlements and the kind of architecture was like back then and how they used the landscape to their advantage. It was just so informative, and it was just so much fun. They also had this cute little train that I just thought was super adorable, so I had to add it in here. And our next stop was to hop on the trolley. So on the trolley, we were able to get a lot more information about just downtown St. Augustine and the history of it. So first we passed the Fountain of Youth and got so much information about Ponce de Leon, and then we got to the fort and we learned a lot about how they use kind of seashells and ground up shells for a lot of the architecture that they did have. And then this was just a really cute kind of Christmas decked out building that they had. And after this tour, we ended up going home to get ready for our late night tour, the Ghost and Hauntings. So after we came back to town, before we went on our little ghost tour, we stopped at this cute little cafe called Chocolates or Chocolates. I'm unsure how you're supposed to say it right, but we stopped here to get some hot chocolates and some cake pops, and we wanted to walk around the town a little bit more before we got our scary stories, and I'm so glad we did, because we probably wouldn't have made it afterwards. So to start out this tour, we actually had to go to this like waiting room area, which had a lot of history on a lot of the occult and kind of magical, haunting, scary story, history type things. And so we ended up having a lot of information learned about that, and then we ended up making it to one of the old cemeteries. Kind of creepy to do that at night, but kind of part of the tour. We actually ended up going back to the old jail as well, which this one was the creepiest part. But we learned so much about the history of St. Augustine, the hauntings of it, and it was just amazing. And then to final out our trip, to end it out, we ended up on the tour getting a free Night of Lights tour, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to St. Augustine, was because I've heard about the beautiful Nights of Lights that they do towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year, and I love Christmas lights. I think they're so magical, and they give such a whimsical and fairy tale feel, and the whole downtown area is just decked out in lights. It was so beautiful, and it was the perfect way for us to end our trip. I'm so glad that I ended up going on this trip with my best friend. We learned so much more about each other and our friendship, and we also got to learn about a piece of the state that we've lived in for so long. I'm very grateful that I was able to go on this trip and share it with you guys. I hope you liked it. Bye.